So a long time ago, I mean a real long time ago, somebody made pictures that moved, and they called them, adorably, movies. Then they made pictures where you hold a button while the character squeezes through a tight space, and they called those plays.
Those are often called video games. Sometimes they even make video games that are based on movies. And boy, do people have feelings about those. Sometimes good, but mostly bad.
But we want to talk about what may be the all-time best video game based on a movie, Super Mario Bros.
Paramount Pictures produced the Bob Hoskins, John Leguizamo film and took the world by storm. But things reached an entirely new level of excitement when Nintendo stepped in and announced a video game adaptation.
I don't think that's quite right.
The Super Mario Bros. Video game was pretty controversial in its time because it was so dramatically different from the source material. The dark worlds of Dino Hatton were reimagined to be bright and colorful.
Needless to say, the different style really threw off die-hard fans of the film. The elements were all there: the plumbers, the princess, the fungus.
Trust the fungus.
But a lot of the details were altered for a more streamlined experience.
Pages and pages have been written about how it would have been so much better if the Goombas were 7 feet tall. But ultimately it won people over because it embraces the spirit of the film. At the end of the day, you can't watch the movie without having a lot of fun. And sure enough, the game proved to be incredibly fun to play.
And in fairness, it did turn out a whole lot better than the other NES game where you play as Bob Hoskins, Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
This still seems wrong. Like we're missing some important detail.
It's an all-time great game, but I'm still a little upset that they took out Big Bertha. I mean, at the end of the day, she wasn't vital to the story, but she really made the world feel larger than what we were seeing, you know? A real Tom Bombadil situation.
Yeah, they may have stripped out a lot of the politics and finer details of Dino Hatton from the movie. But at the end of the day, the video game adaptation was such a runaway success, it's usually the first thing people think of now when they hear the name Super Mario Bros.
Then, almost exactly 30 years later, they released an animated remake of the original film. They changed the visual style to more closely match the video game version for this remake, but at the end of the day, it's still the same story of Brooklyn plumbers going to a dinosaur dimension.
The remake was actually shockingly good, but at the end of the day, nothing will ever beat the magic of that original movie.
Oh, of course! I knew something was wrong with this. You two got it all mixed up. The movie was released by Hollywood Pictures, not Paramount.